.au. It's Monday morning. Monday morning means old mate BK, Benyam Kidane from NBA Australia. BK, how are you, my brother?
I'm good, my man. How you living?
I'm living good, mate. I'm living good. How was your New Year's?
Good, man. Pretty low key, but ready to start a new year. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Well, look, I'm part of the fully washed gang, so I was in bed, fully washed. I was in bed nice and early on New Year's Eve. My 9-year-old nephew actually stayed up later than me on New Year's Eve. So,
I was happy to make it to midnight, but it wasn't going any further than that.
No, that's it. It's not long after that, I had to call it a night. BK, let's get into the NBA talk. We've got a lot to cover from this weekend. I want to start with the great man, DeMar DeRozan, and I don't even want to call it a career resurgence, but it kind of is in a way, because I feel like those seasons in San Antonio, he was a little bit buried over there. Wasn't playing his usual game, but yesterday hit an amazing game winner. He's the first player in NBA history to hit 2 game winners on back-to-back nights. Did it against Indiana, followed it up yesterday in the game against Washington. BK, he's leading the league in fourth quarter scoring. How amazing has DeMar been this season?
Debo! You're 100% right. And Stan Van Gundy brought up a great point on Twitter earlier today, saying that not all game winners are created equal. Both of DeMar's game winners, the Bulls were trailing, so the sheer clutch factor of DeMar DeRozan and the way he's been playing this season. Obviously, we know what he's been doing in the fourth quarters. He's the best fourth quarter scorer in the NBA. And I think it might be time for him to re-enter the MVP conversation. I don't say that lightly. The Bulls are the number 1 team in the East. And a big reason for that is what DeMar DeRozan has been doing.
I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because I was thinking the exact same thing. He is definitely in the conversation right now because, like you said, the Bulls are the number 1 seed. He is playing absolutely phenomenally. He's averaging 26.8 points, 5 rebounds, 5 rebounds and 4.6 assists. If the Bulls finish first or second in the East, which, I mean, it looks very likely that they will, he's definitely got to be in that conversation.
100%. I mean, you look at the other guys in that race. I mean, Giannis, who I know we're going to speak about later, has definitely done the same in terms of re-entering the conversation. Steph and KD have pretty much set the pace all season, and then you've got Jokic out there in Denver as well. But DeMar's got that mix of winning, fourth quarter heroics, and just the show factor as well. Like, the story really does matter when it comes to MVP. The narrative can get swept up, and he's riding a heck of a one through the first half of the season.
Well, the narrative is why Russell Westbrook has an MVP, so I don't see why DeMar can't get it. Because, like I said, those 3 seasons in San Antonio, people kind of forgot what kind of player he was. Because when he was in Toronto, he was doing this on the regular, and then obviously he gets traded to San Antonio. Not a big, market team, doesn't get as much love and as much shine over there. But he's been doing this, and I'm glad that he's doing it again, and people are really sort of starting to respect DeRozan's game. You mentioned Giannis, my guy. Let's get into a bit of Giannis, because he is also making a case for his 3rd MVP. Passed the great Elgin Baylor yesterday for 19th on the all-time triple-double list after notching 35 points, 16 rebounds, 10 assists in the win over the Pelicans. BK, his 2nd triple-double of the season, 27th of his career. Next up on the all-time triple-doubles list is Michael Jordan with 28. So he needs one more to tie Michael Jordan in the all-time triple-doubles list. And if he passes him, so when he passes him, it's official. Giannis is better than Michael Jordan.
Hey, that's all it is. That's that's the only metric we count these days is triple-doubles. So I'm with it.
BK, it was actually just the first time in his career that he's had 35, 15, and 10. and only a fifth time in Bucks franchise history that someone has done that. Bucks are now 16-2 with their big three playing together. Giannis has been an absolute monster since coming out of those protocols on Christmas Day, BK. Look, third MVP. I mean, I picked him to win MVP at the start of the season, and I'm telling you, I'm going to stick with this throughout this season. You like DeRozan, but Giannis really making a case?
I don't think that's crazy because I think the Bucks are going to be very good. I mean, they are very good, but they'll be there at the business end of the season. And I mean, Giannis, he's looking like Shaq at times out there, just with the sheer dominance in that paint. Some of the dunks he's been throwing down, the way his physicality just seems to be going up. I mean, he is putting together a heck of a season for Milwaukee.
If you look at his numbers, I mean, they are pretty much similar to those two MVP years that he did have. And he plays like Shaq, but he can also play on the perimeter a little bit. I'm telling you, he's the best in the world, BK. He's the best player in the world.
I'm not mad at that. I mean, I'm team Kevin Durant, but I can't argue with Giannis as the best player.
Well, that's it. We agree. Giannis is the best player. I love it. BK, there's actually a team I want to talk about a little bit as well. The Phoenix Suns. Now, we've been high on them all season. They've hit a little bit of a slump. They've lost 3 out of their last 4, which is their worst stretch from them all season. They opened a 3-game road stretch with a loss to Boston on Saturday, BK. Devin Booker said, look, we're not defending and we've got a stagnant offense. We just have to be better. That's 2 or 3 games in a row that we've been playing catch up. So they've lost to the C's, Grizzlies, and the Warriors, and they've beaten OKC twice in their last 5, which you would expect them to do out of those games. BK, should we be worried about the Phoenix Suns?
Not just yet. I mean, they do have a tough start to 2022. I think they've got 14 games in 28 days, and that's only been exacerbated by the fact they have a few guys in the health and safety protocols. I think they're signing Bismack Biyombo with Ayton and JaVale McGee both sidelined. But I don't think it's time to panic just yet. But this stretch will kind of tell us a little bit about the Suns this season because, they could kind of take a tumble in the standings if they can't hold the ship till they get all their guys back.
Yeah, look, I agree. I think it is a little bit too early to start worrying about the Suns. 3 out of 4. There's just so many games in the NBA season. You're going to have, ups and downs. They're still 6th in points allowed and still the second best offense in the league, both behind the Golden State Warriors, actually. So, look, they've had some, guys in COVID protocols. They've had a couple of injuries. So I think, look, if they're healthy, they're going to be just fine, assuming not too many other guys go down throughout the the remainder of the season. I think they're going to be fine. BK, one guy that is coming back very soon, and I'm excited for him to come back, Klay Thompson, reportedly targeting a January home game as a return date. Steve Kerr says he will be in the starting lineup immediately. He will not be coming off the bench. So, that's good for him. This one's a little bit tough. Look, obviously Steve Kerr knows basketball a hell of a lot better than I do, but I don't know. Look, he's coming off a couple of major injuries there, BK. He hasn't played basketball in 2 years, I think. Literally 2 years. It was the last time he played a competitive basketball game. Maybe even a little bit longer. It was June 2019, so it's probably a little bit...
Just over 2 years, yeah.
2.5 years. BK, what can we expect to see from Klay Thompson when he comes back?
Look, I think he'll start on a minutes restriction. Obviously, back in the starting lineup, just in terms of getting back into his role. But I don't think they're going to sort of rush him back out and say, hey, you be Klay Thompson again immediately. I think they'll ease into this because they can afford to, because they are playing so well. They've got a guy like Jordan Poole who'll go to the bench and probably still play maybe a similar amount of minutes, just in a different role. But I'm excited to see Klay back out there because it's almost unfair. One of the best teams is about to get a whole lot better.
Yeah, look, even at 70%, let's just assume he comes back at 70% of what he used to be, right? Because before he was an amazing two-way guard. If he comes back at 70% and you just slot him in next to Steph, who's having an incredible season, and just that Warriors team in general, I would take 70% Klay over most shooting guards in the NBA, to be perfectly honest.
Catch and shoot Klay. He doesn't have to do a whole lot. He was never an explosive guy. I mean, he runs around a ton of screens, but he can just get them up. And even if he's at 50%, I think that's still gonna be a positive for the Warriors.
And look, I'm going to maintain this until it either is clearly not going to happen or it does happen. But you bring in Klay, right? And then you bring in a guy like Ben Simmons. If they can somehow make a trade for Ben Simmons, like offensively, is anyone going to stop that team?
To be honest, I'm not sure many teams are going to stop them as they're currently constructed.
Yeah, fair call. Fair call. I'm not mad at that, BK. All right, BK, let's take a look at some of the games we're going to close out here before we head off. There's already one in progress. The Knicks are playing the Toronto Raptors right now, but we're going to start here with the Dallas Mavericks and the OKC Thunder. Mavericks $1.24 favorites. Thunder $4.30. The line's at 9. Total's at 207. That one's live on SBS Viceland today. BK, Josh Giddey is out of health and safety protocols for the OKC Thunder, so he'll be playing today. Now, unfortunately, SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, is in protocol, so one guy out, one guy in. Josh Green's been playing pretty well for the Dallas Mavericks in recent times. He's been getting some good burn as well, some 26, 28-minute games for him recently. And, of course, the great man Luka Doncic is out of protocols and he will be playing. BK. What do we like here?
You know how much I like this Thunder team, but without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I think the Mavs are going to have a little bit too much for them. But I'm excited to see the Josh Green versus Josh Giddey. Josh Green has been pretty impressive for the Mavs. I'm enjoying seeing him with the ball in his hands a little bit more. We saw him have that 10 assist game the other day, so. I'll rock with the Dallas Mavs in this one. Who you liking?
Yeah, I'm going with the Mavs too for the exact same reasons that you just said. And I love that Josh Green has been playing a hell of a lot more. It seems like Rick Carlisle is trusting him a lot more this season. BK, do you find that as well?
Jason Kidd, but yes.
Oh, sorry.
100%.
It's a COVID time warp.
I can't keep track of who's where. Yeah. But you're 100% right. The fact that he has the ball in his hands and, he's entrusted him to kind of be a bit more of a playmaker this season. We kind of just saw him being a defensive transition guy to this point, but now we're sort of starting to see him have a little bit more of an impact on the offense.
It is indeed. All right, BK, next game we're going to take a look at here is the Phoenix Suns that we just spoke about and the Charlotte Hornets. This should be a good game, BK. The Suns, $1.72 favorites. Hornets, $2.21. Line is at 2.5. Total's at 232. That one's live on League Pass today. Now, Charlotte have won 3 in a row, BK. Miles Bridges, PJ Washington, both cleared. The protocols should be available to play. Terry Rozier has been hooping for the Charlotte Hornets lately. Their leading scorer for the past couple of games. Like we said, Phoenix have lost 3 out of the last 4. The Suns beat the Hornets by 31 when they played recently. That's not going to happen today. I like the Hornets. I've been high on the Hornets all season. When they're healthy, I think they've been pretty fun to watch. I'm going to pick them at home today. Close one, BK.
I'm not mad at that. I like the Hornets. And as you said, the Suns haven't been the best over the past week. So I'm going to go with you and rock with the Hornets. Yeah,
look, it's purely just based on form. Like I said, I think the Hornets have been hooping over the last 3 games. The Suns, so we'll see. All right, last game we're going to take a look at, and then we're out of here. The Minnesota Timberwolves at the Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers, $1.30 favorites. Minnesota Timberwolves, $3.80. The line there's at 8. Total's at 221. That one's live on ESPN. This is the 7th and the 9th seeds, BK. Lakers 18 and 19 on the season. LeBron James has been playing center recently, and he's been playing pretty well at center. He's been playing pretty well since he's come back from his suspension. In the 14 games that he's been back, he's averaging 30 points, 9 rebounds, just under 7 assists, 1.6 steals, 1.4 blocks. Father Time, he's just pushing him right away. Only players in protocols for the Lakers is Trevor Ariza, Timberwolves have D'Angelo Russell and Cat both in the protocols. For that reason alone, I think that Timberwolves are too undermanned, and I think the Lakers win. I think the money's spot on there. I think the Lakers win pretty easily at home.
Hey, the Lakers have got to start capitalizing on these crazy LeBron games because he's been hooping, but they've been losing. So I'm gonna go with the Lakers in this one. And it's crazy. Is LeBron their best point guard, best forward, and best center?
Yes.
In year 19, let's just think about that.
He's also their best coach. I don't know if he's the best GM because some of the moves he's made over the last couple of seasons are questionable. But
his track record as a GM speaks for itself, though.
Yes, yeah, it generally does. BK, that's it for today, mate. We're going to let you go. You're going to be back on Friday morning as usual. We'll be back on Wednesday with a special guest. This has been The Last Shot NBA show here on Little Birdie TV, brought to you by our good friends at topsport.com.au, and we'll see you guys on Wednesday.